Every single offseason in the NFL, at least in recent years, there are so many crazy trades that nobody expects. Ones like Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff that happened at midnight with all those draft picks and many trades like that. Today, I'm going to be predicting one player on every team in the AFC, and then I will do the NFC tomorrow that could be traded, potential trade candidates. Before you guys yell at me and what player I choose, I took in consideration contract, recent performances, and what that team has at that position. So like if I picked a running back, maybe they just drafted one, so there's a new one in town. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please subscribe. Comment down below your favorite team and who you want your team to trade for this offseason. And let's get right in today's video. So we are using a website called ourlads.com. It has every NFL depth chart, roster, free agency, stuff like that. So I go recommend you check that out. But we are going to go right in this order for the AFC, NFC tomorrow. So the first team we have is the Buffalo Bills. It was a little hard to pick from this team on who I think is going to get traded. But then as I kind of thought about it, I think it kind of got obvious. I do think this team needs to get a little younger in some spots on this defense. But in terms of a trade, I am predicting Mr. Dawson Knox is going to get traded from the Buffalo Bills. I think Dalton Kincaid has kind of outplayed him this season from what I've seen. Jackson Hawes has made some nice plays when he steps in. And there's also some other good tight ends in the market. I think the Bills move on from Dawson Knox. He has 1 year left on his contract, and he is a $17 million cap hit for the Bills. The Bills are one of those teams who are in negative cap space, so I could definitely see them moving on from Dawson Knox. Moving on, we have the Miami Dolphins, and this one was a layup. It wasn't really much thought into it. I went with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Obviously, they benched him when they were eliminated from the playoffs. He's 27 years old. He is on a huge contract, 3 years left. I think around $150 million left on that contract. So whatever team picks him up has to eat that or kind of make a deal. But Tua stated a fresh start would be nice for him. And obviously, I think since Dolphins got a new head coach, Jeff Hafley, new GM, they're going to go in a different direction. I think it makes sense for everybody. In terms of where Tua goes, I will make a prediction video based on that soon. But some early candidates are probably teams like maybe they do a swap with the Cardinals, Kyler Murray for Tua. Maybe he, I don't know, signs with the Steelers or maybe the Vikings. I don't even know, man. But he's going to go somewhere. There's no doubt in my mind he's not going to be on a team next year. Just we'll have to see if he's on a starting role. New England Patriots, this one was tougher because Patriots are one of those teams that just kind of renovated everything. Like a lot of starters on their new team are relatively new. They obviously spent a lot of money last offseason, as they should, and they made the Super Bowl this year, so there's probably not much to change. But if I had to pick, this one may get some rude comments, but I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson. I think the way Travion Henderson played when he stepped up and got some more reps, he should have got more targets early in the year. Carries. Stevenson's 28 years old. He has 3 years left on his deal, so I know he has some years left. But I could see this trade happening around draft time. If the Patriots get a couple picks for maybe third, fourth rounders, I think there's a lot of teams out there that could use Stevenson. He does have a fumbling problem that has been an issue lately, but I think he's a decent running back, and I think he could be a part of like a two-back rotation. I just think Henderson is going to take this job and run away with it. So that's kind of who I picked based off the New England Patriots' current roster. Next up, we have the New York Jets, and this one was a weird pick because this team is something, obviously. A lot of young players. They kind of got rid of people I would have said. Like, I would have said Sauce Gardner would have been gone. Players like him, and then they traded Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. I can see a couple players. My dream pick for the Jets. Oh, yeah, also a rule in this video. I did not pick any unrestricted free agents. That was a no deal. If I was doing that, I would have definitely picked Breece Hall, but I didn't do that. I didn't pick any players who contracts is running up. So anybody in the green name means their contract is running up in March, and I didn't pick any of them. I want Garrett Wilson to get out of there. He's like what, 25 maybe? 25 years old. He needs to get out of there. Plain and simple, he'll realize it eventually. Um I didn't want to take the layup with Justin Fields. For the Jets, I went on the defensive side of the ball and I went with Harrison Phillips. He has 1 year left on his deal. He's 30 years old. He's going to want to go play for a contender, former Bill, former Viking. I see him returning to the Vikings. But yeah, I think Harrison Phillips is going to get traded from the Jets. I think this is another one that will happen for some picks. Jets have a lot of picks already, but they'll definitely want more with the current state of their crappy roster. So Harrison Phillips, get ready to go back to the Vikings or another team for your own good. All right, the next player we're going to go with, next team, I mean, Baltimore Ravens. This one was definitely a tough one because I feel like their defense has a lot of younger players and a lot of good players that they wouldn't really trade. So I kind of looked on the offensive side of the ball here. A lot of backups are leaving for Baltimore, so it would make less sense to trade the starters. A lot of players are leaving on Baltimore. You got to bring back or do something about DeAndre, Tylan Wallace. Linderbaum's the biggest one, potentially in all of NFL free agency. Isaiah likely too. But I think for the Baltimore Ravens, the player that has the best chance to get traded, don't click off this video, is Lamar. I'm just kidding. It's Rashad Bateman. It was kind of hard to pick for this team. 26 years old. He has 4 years left on his deal, but I just feel like he did nothing crazy this year. Zay Flowers has been the undisputably doubted number one. New coach, and I think that they're just gonna get one in the draft. Like the Ravens don't have a bad draft pick this year. They might trade up or whatever. A lot of good receivers in this draft. I think they'll get a receiver, trade Bateman. They'll bring back like Wallace. Tez Walker could be the third. I just feel like Rashad Bateman's on his way out. I feel like he hasn't been as productive as his contract shows, but it was tough to pick for the Ravens besides acting like an idiot trying to get clips for Lamar Jackson like a lot of these ESPN sources are doing. Cincinnati. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson would be the layup, but he's going to be a free agent. Like I said, I'm not picking any of those names. Not a lot of players the Bengals are losing. Cam Taylor-Britt, maybe. He's not bad. He's inconsistent, though. Geno Stone. But I think the player that the Bengals trade, I think, obviously, they keep Jamar. They keep T. Isovas isn't bad. Joe Burrow could be on his way out in a year. May request a trade. Chase Brown's always been solid. I went with B.J. Hill. He's an older player, 2 years left on his deal. He's a defensive tackle, 30 years old. I don't know. I just feel like he's the player for Cincinnati. Obviously, you have Joseph Asai. He's going to be unrestricted free agent, though. I just feel like out of the players, B.J. Hill, he could go for a third-round pick, maybe a fourth. Bengals need to fix their defense, and it's going to start by trading people who have been here for a long time that aren't making a difference, respectfully. Next up, Pittsburgh Steelers. This was probably one of the toughest teams I had to do so far to pick a player because a lot of their players have been there for so long, but keep in mind, new coach, Mike McCarthy's going to do things differently, so some of these Mike Tomlin guys may be on their way out. Cameron Hayward's getting older, TJ Watt's getting older, but I ultimately went with Alex Highsmith. They have Peyton Wilson, they have Patrick Queen, Cole Holcomb, if they bring him back. Nick Herbig, I'm high on. He's a younger player. But I think Alex Highsmith makes the most sense. He's got 2 years left on his deal, 28 years old. I just feel like he's one of those players that could get traded from the Pittsburgh defense. He was solid this year for the most part. I just think that position group is loaded. I think this Pittsburgh defense is really going to get younger, and I think trading Alex Highsmith is a start for that. I really don't know, though. I mean, maybe Joey Porter, maybe Jalen Ramsey. I just don't see it. I think Alex Highsmith makes the most sense. Next up, we have, oh, brother, who knows what the Browns are doing? I will say, though, this is the first time in a long time I've seen a team's practically whole offensive line go up for free agency. Wyatt Teller said he's not coming back. I think Joel said it too. I know David Njoku isn't coming back based off how Harold Fannin has been playing, and obviously he's been a Brown too long. I think there is a syndrome of be like TMB, too much Brown. Like, you're Brown too long. That's what David Njoku's leaving. Good for him, by the way. God bless. But for the Browns, I mean, Mason Graham is young. Myles Garrett's talking about winning Super Bowl MVP. Who's going to tell him that? Who's going to tell him? Carson Schwitz Sr., really good year. Denzel Ward's never going to leave the Browns. Tyson Campbell is new. I think the player that makes the most sense is JOK. He has 2 years left on his deal, 26 years old. He hasn't done much there so far. Carson has played really well. He's going to get that linebacker bag in a year or two. If they bring Devin Bush back, Jerome Baker, if they bring him back, I know he's kind of older, probably 30s, 29 years old. So Cleveland was tough to pick again, but I think that just makes the most sense. Moving on from Jeremiah, JOK basically. But yeah, I mean, I could see Jerry Judy too, maybe Isaiah Bond, but this team, Andrew Berry doesn't know what he's doing, so it's kind of hard to predict what this team is going to do because they find new ways to do something stupid. So we'll see. All right, moving on, we have the Houston Texans. This was a tough team to pick, but it is a underrated pick. Some people may not agree with it. That's okay. But the defense, there's no chance anybody moves. Daniil Hunter balled out. Will Anderson. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson were really good. They got to decide what they want to do at defensive tackle. Henry Toto was really good. Aziz, dirty player, but he's good. Derek Stingley Jr., Kamari Lassiter, good corners. Kalen Bullock, Jalen Petrie play well. Petrie's really good at the nickelback. For offense, a couple offensive linemen up for grabs. I think they could use a whole offensive renovation, offensive line. Could bring in a running back too. But the player I thought has a good chance of getting traded from Houston is quarterback Davis Mills. And I could kind of explain this one. He only has 1 year left on his contract. He's 27 years old. The thing is, this quarterback free agency, if you haven't seen it already, it's not the greatest. The best option is probably like Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, maybe Russell. This is not a good quarterback free agency, so you might see some teams make some aggressive trades for some backups, like maybe Davis Mills, Tyson Bagent, anybody you want, Andy Dalton, box of Dana Pringles, you could have him. But yeah, Davis Mills, I think he's one of those competent backups that could be maybe a bridge quarterback if he gets traded. But don't be surprised if he gets traded to a team that desperately needs some quarterback play because he's not bad. Okay, he's definitely not bad. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. This one is kind of a layup, but it's not. It's my boy who I've always spoke highly about. I've followed him since he's been drafted on his YouTube channel. That's Michael Pittman Jr. He has 1 year left on his deal. He is an underrated player, 28 years old. He kind of had a slow year this year. He did have some touchdowns, but the thing is, this is more of the players around him. Josh Downs has gotten better. If they bring back Alec Pierce, he's one of the best deep threats in football. So we'll have to see if they bring him back. I just feel like he could use a fresh start too. He deserves one. He deserves playoffs. He's an underrated wide receiver. And I'd love if he went to Carolina. That would be awesome. But I think he's a trade candidate for Indianapolis, whether he goes to Carolina or not. Jaguars. This is an easy one for me, a layup. It's Walker Little. Obviously got hurt, and then he got benched for poor play. 26 years old. He has 1 year left on his contract. He's going to get traded. Maybe Minnesota could use him. Maybe Cleveland. Yeah, I think he's going to get traded for sure. Older player, getting older, injured, didn't play well. And Cole has played well for the Jaguars. So you don't want to break what's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think that's the mindset that the Jags GM, Gladstone, will have. Next up, Tennessee. I was between two players, but I ultimately leaned towards one. I was between a couple, actually. Tony Pollard. You could go Calvin Ridley. I feel like that's kind of a layup, though. I kind of took a little fadeaway three-pointer here. I went with Jeffrey Simmons. He's 28 years old. He has 2 years left on his contract. He's a good player, but get the freak out of there, man. Like, you've been there for too long. Go win. Tell them, yo, I appreciate what you guys are building. I know Cam Ward's a good player. I know he's a team captain and all that, but get out of there, please. This is probably not going to happen. I am well aware of that. But please get out of there for your own sake, Jeffrey. Just go. Leave. Goodbye. Get traded. Request one. All right, moving on. We have the Denver Broncos. This one was a weird one too because they got some decent players that are up for free agency, so they already got a lot of decisions to make with their money. They do have a good amount from what I've seen. So this defense obviously really good. I don't think they do too much with it. This one may be a little far stretched, but I'm gonna go with Cortland Sutton, wide receiver. I know he has like 4 years left on his contract, but he's 30 years old, and I feel like he just wasn't as good as he usually is this year. He had a lot of drops. I feel like Denver is going to trade Cortland Sutton for maybe like a couple picks, and then they're going to use those picks to get a big receiver, a big name, or like a big name in the draft. That's just my opinion. I think Denver is going to make a very aggressive move for a wide receiver, and I feel like when they do that, they're also going to move Cortland Sutton. Just an opinion. But I couldn't really pick anybody else that would get traded on this team because of certain contracts and who's already there. Kansas City. Who did I pick for? Okay. This one's kind of tough too. I don't really know the direction the Chiefs are gonna head. They kind of have two options. They could utilize their remaining Super Bowl window with Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes, or they could kind of tear it down a bit, be mid for a season or two, and then go back to being great with the end of Mahomes' career. My gut feeling tells me they're going to do the first one. They're not going to kind of rebuild. They do have some decisions to make on the defense. Leo Chanel is going to the Panthers. An inside source texted me that, just so you know. But for the Chiefs, I could see as a trade candidate Mike Donna. He's 28 years old. He has 1 year left on his contract. This is going to be around a draft day trade. It's just my gut. Like I said, I don't think there's a huge lot of trades the Chiefs are going to do with the players on here. Leo's going to the Panthers. They'll bring back Brian. Trent's kind of young. Nick Bolton is a great linebacker. He's 25 years old, so he's not going anywhere. Chris Jones could get the boot. Just effort overall. But again, I think this team isn't going to change too much. These wide receivers just need to behave off the field. And Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, they're still the leaders there. So we'll have to see. But I think Mike Donna makes the most sense for who the Chiefs are going to trade. Next up we got Las Vegas, Max Crosby. I know this one may be an actual 4 out of 10 chance of happening, but dude, listen to your gut. You're playing for the Raiders. He has 4 years left on his contract, 28 years old, but he's a really, really good football player, arguably top 3 defensive player in the NFL. He needs to get out of there. I know he knows that. Apparently, he told ownership that he's not going to play another snap for the Raiders. They literally told him, don't play because we want to lose. Get out of there, dude. By any means, Max, get out of there. Go somewhere. And I'm not sure if he could be a Panther, but other than that, just get out of there, dude. I'd love to see him go to another team and make the playoffs because he's one of those old school players who just shows up, works hard with his head down, and grinds and plays really well and then doesn't cause any trouble. Finally, for the AFC, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. And for the Chargers, I know this one may be a little weird pick, but Will Disley, tight end number 2, 3, whatever you want to say. 29 years old, 1 year left on his contract. Gadsden from Syracuse has played really well for the Chargers, so this makes a lot of sense. But NFC will be tomorrow. Every single NFL's NFC team. So comment down below what player you think is going to get traded from your team or who you want your team to trade. Comment down below what you think about my predictions. I'll tell you what, if at least 16 players that I say don't get traded, I will do whatever the top comment says as like a bet. But I think some of these players far stretched, some of them a really good chance. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you're not already. Check out my TikTok and Twitter at Sports Talk with Justin. Come back tomorrow to see the NFC, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.